Good morning. Today we are going to learn the concept of inline functions in C++. So what is inline? As the name itself is talking about, is that inline functions are going to be in line. Okay, how we are going to do? They are to be in line. The functions which provide the function provides the optimizer of the performance. Like as it is like a macro, it's like a macro that is hash define x value you are going to assign 10. So whenever you are going to take x is going to be substituted. If it is being called, then it is substituted to 10. What will happen? That is to be substituted to 10. X value to be becomes the 10. Same way, here the functions are inline. So that optimized. What it will do? It provides optimal performance of the program. Optimum the performance of the program by reducing the function calls in the stack. Stack is going to happen the function calls. Where in a stack, function call have the stack. So it reduces that by reducing the overhead by function call. So what is the syntax? We are going to use it. The syntax for that is the syntax is same as the function prototype. How the function prototype is? What is function prototype? Function prototype contains the return type, name of the function, and the number of arguments. For example, say I'm going to perform the addition of two numbers. So return type I'm returning as the integer. The name of the function is add, and it can take one argument or the two arguments, int a, comma int b. So here there are arguments. If I write the inline keyword preceded, the keyword inline is preceded before the function prototype finish to be done. That is return a plus b. Return a plus b. So this function is called inline function. So I hope you are following here. Main purpose is to optimize the performance by the program by reducing the overhead, and the syntax is inline. Inline is a keyword. Inline is a keyword. Return inline is the keyword which is to be preceded. The keyword is preceded before the return type, function name, and the numbers arguments. So I will write here the example. Example. We will take the keyword inline. The return type is integer. The name of the function is addition. The parameters can be one argument or the n arguments. How many arguments are required? So here the function body contains the return. Normally we are going to use the return with the inline because it's talking that we are going to have the value and they are with the shorter as they are the keywords which suggest the compiler to replace the function call with the actual code to avoid the function overhead. Let us see. So, as I hope you are clear with the syntax, when you are not going to use the function to be inline. These are the major places. If you are going to write the keyword inline, function contains a loop. The compiler automatically consider that function as a normal function rather than the inline function. So the first is if function contains a loop, then it is not an inline. If a function contains a static variable, what is static? Static as like how we are going to do is the static. I will show here. That is, it is a variable int a. If you put the keyword static, then that will become a static variable. They share the common place. Okay, they have the copy and they share common place among all the objects. All objects. Hence, it should not be a inline. Hence, it should not be the inline. Then, if it is a recursive, as we are telling that inline are the short span data, and if you are going to make it recursive is calling itself. The function calls itself repeatedly to perform the task. Then it we are going to call it as a recursive function. So function return type is other than the white. If you don't have a return type, the statement does not exist the function body. Then also that a function is not an inline. If the function contains switch and go to, if the function contains switch and go to, like examples, I will consider here example example one. If it contains a loop, like example, like I am writing the inline keyword. Simply say to perform the looping, any programming where you are going to do, like for a Fibonacci or a factorial Fibonacci, you are going to do, and int n. As this is, I am returning the value integer. What I am doing here, I am taking for I equal to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus. If I use like this, so simply I am not performing anything here. Simply I want to display the I value. Otherwise, I will take with another example so that you can understand with a better concept. That is example. First it tells that we should not have, do not have loop. Have a loop. Okay. If inline function is there, inline, return type is integer. So what I'm doing here, just a display. Okay, display is a method where I don't have any argument. So int I for I started with 0, I is less than n, I plus plus. So n or I can take with the constant. N or I can take with the constant. Erase the revision. Okay, I'll write once again. Inline is the keyword. Then the return type is integer. The name of the function is display. The number of arguments are null. Where now we are going to display the value. So I'm using a for I is equal to 0, I is less than 5 and I plus plus. Here what we are doing, we are cout, declaring the variable I, cout I. So what's happening here? It does not contain the return. It doesn't, it does not contain the return value. Contain the return, contain a return a statement. A return statement. Hence, it is not again a inline. If it contain loop, then this is not a inline because it is unable to replace the call. It is unable to replace the call. So let's take one by one. I will again, once again, I repeat. If you have switch go to, it is not an inline. If you don't have return other than white, then it is. If you are recursive, if you are static, if you are loop, then they are not to be considered. The compiler doesn't consider or perform that as an inline. Compiler may not perform inlining in this following circumstances. Okay, so let's go with the practical implementation so that you can understand it better. Okay, so let's go with the compiler here. Then taken here for a inline programming. Okay, we have the values that is hash include. Let's write the code so that you can understand how that thing is to be worked. First, let's have hash include IO stream, and that is our header file where we are going to write with the thing. And at the compiler is the editor, so we are using the namespace. The namespace name is standard. Standard we are taking from the input and output. Inline is a keyword where we are going to write make it as an inline function. Then integer is the return type. Add the name of the function and how many variables we are taking? Only one. So returning the value. Similarly, we are taking the two and here we are calling for the value addition of the two number and addition of the to data by calling the method. So let's execute this. Once you compile here, you will identify how the function call is to be replaced. So here, first you are going to have the add of 5. So 5 value is passed to the function, a single argument, and returns a plus a. Whereas second one, where you are going to pass how many arguments here? The method contains the two arguments, that is x and y. So that x and y, x value I am passing as 5 and y value as passing as 3. So that 5 plus 3 is, it is 8. So let's take that thing and execute, and we will see one more program for the same. So the result is addition of 5 plus 5 is 10, whereas addition of two numbers, that is the 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. This is how the inline works. Again, we will see one more program where we are going to convert this program into the addition to finding a maximum of numbers. Okay, which one is maximum or minimum or greater than two numbers? So any value you can do with the inline function. So the result, the expected output is, the expected output over here is, you are going to take with a plus a value, that is the 5 is going to pass here into the a, that value is stored in a plus a, that is 5 plus 5 is 10. Then addition of these two numbers, your 5 is stored in x and the 3 is stored in y. So x plus y is